We are here today at Fleckvieh farm, in the department of Antioquia, and we would like to show you a successful case of Colombian cattle breeding of our Simmental Simgyr family here at Fleckvieh farm. As we know, because surely you have been following us for a long time here in the television programs, we started with a breeding stock imported from Germany through Simmental cattle embryos and both in the Bogotá savanna. And here in Antioquia a very interesting experience was developed with this type of cattle. We realized that we are in difficult lands for breeding, because logically we are not in a flat land. But we are also in a very good land, black mountainous, and with a lot of minerals and organic matter content, where we can breed well. If we look at the forage supply, we basically have a star base that is between 1,000 to 1,400 meters. Logically this is the grass that reigns in all this region and this should be our base. Then, more cattle that are raised in star with a protein that goes between 7 to 10% when we use logically with some chemical, but that has to be our base. Now what are we going to produce? Here we cannot produce barley because these are hillside lands, so we must be clear in breeding. What do we have today? What we have done in Fleckvieh farm is to use all that large and important base of the Simmental with cows in the Bogotá savanna that were applied in 40 liters to start a very important crossbreeding with the Simgyr breed. Thinking in those lands from 1,800 meters above sea level to sea level, that is to say, up to 0 meters. A very interesting base is being created, pure for pure of course, where we started with those Simmental cows tested in milk. It is important to repeat this, because many times the discards in our purebred farms, be it Holstein, Simmental, Jersey, Ayrshire, whatever you want, the cow that did not get pregnant or gave little milk, put a Zebu bull in it and we will sell it to hot land as a milk producer that gives something. No, here the work was done as it is, the best cows were taken and while the mass of higher productions began to be crossed with the best Simgyr genetics available at the time. We have Jaguar, Genghis Khan, Dragao and all the bulls that are in the top 10 of the production index in Brazil. We are constantly reviewing the genetics of these bulls to look for a crossbreeding that is as dairy as possible. Now, what do we get? We have an F1, as Dr. Rodrigo Velez, who manages this important farm, told us, an animal in its first calving can reach 12 liters of milk during a lactation between 7, 8 and sometimes up to 9 months, depending on when the cow is pregnant, which here is in very good conditions. Then between 60 to 90 days she is getting pregnant again from the first calving and above all the importance and persistence of maintaining the production of 12 liters of milk. With a good initial genetics, it is obtained by supplementing a little bit the calves up to 15 months of age, because logically we must have a calf and a heifer that weans well, animals that we can bear, animals that give us in the bucket. Finally, at milking time, here all these productions take place in one milking. In the afternoon the milk is not milked because it is for the calf. It is very important the supplementation that consists of a little bit of concentrate in the milking and with Gordon seed and barley bran. With this feeding plan together with the star in the paddock that is the majority of our forage supply, we have a first calving production of 12 liters that I think is more than acceptable. It is very interesting. For all of you who want to have milking in middle and hot lands from the Simmental. Now, why Simmental? Why don't we go with Guirolando or other crossbreeds? All crosses are good, we always say it, sometimes the bad ones are us as breeders who do not know how to look for the product. But surely when we are going to cross the Simgyr with the Simmental, we have a blood clash that surely helps us to improve the aplomb of the Simgyr, the udders and logically the resistance to improve the adaptation of the Simmental. The blood clash is a very productive and interesting F1 for all of you who want genetics from these very important cows because they are going to guarantee milk production. What is the plus? Our Simmental breed, a dual-purpose breed that gives us a calf that without being meaty, as it could be in the case of the simbrah breed, has a very important weaning. Here in this middle land, we are weaning calves of 7 to 8 months above 220 to 240 kilos, there are animals that are close to 300 kilos, the most spoiled and of higher genetics, but on average we are at 220 to 230 kilos. It is a very good weaning because it gives us at today's price, around 5,000 to 5,500 pesos, a weaning that is worth more than 1,100,000 pesos plus the cow's lactation, so we become very productive. Above all, these F1 cows are weaned 80 to 90% pregnant because their condition, which in this case is provided by the Simmental breed, allows them to have sufficient capacity to store energy during the drying period, and when calving, they maintain production and do not lose as much body condition as happens when we logically look for crosses that are very milk-oriented. So, these are cows that normally in the first 100 days are rewarded, and that is productivity, fertility, and finally longevity. There are cows here on the farm that are 12, 13, and even 14 years old still calving. Remember that, as I always tell you in our programs, the biggest cost that a cattle rancher has is replacement, that is, from the time the calf is born until its first day of milk, we are investing in it. According to calculations we have from the Bogotá savanna and middle lands like in Spain, it takes us up to 1.5 lactation to recover that replacement cost. In the first lactation of the cow and half of the second lactation we must recover those expenses for everything we invest in the calf. Therefore, we need long-lived cows that will hopefully last 12, 13, and even 14 years on the farm calving, not just one cow but calving, giving milk and calves, because the replacement cost is a very high cost. Well, and to finish, the last and most important lot, so that you can see the work that genetics is doing at Hacienda Sevilla. A 3/4 Simmental bull, 1/4 gyre on a half Simmental cow by gyre, is a way that Dr. Rodrigo calls intermediate because it seems easy. We skipped a step with respect to the long way. But we have to make the bull be good, and we have to choose the stockings. So the work is not fast either. But look at the quality of these animals and their body condition. They are animals that always live fat thanks to the feed we have at the moment, and above all they get pregnant easily. Finally, I would like to thank all my active breeders. It has been a very difficult year, in pandemic with great challenges and difficulties, but together we are still here. We continue to deliver animals of the best quality, and we have become stronger. Thanks to the pandemic, many of our breeders have spent time on the farm and have moved forward with their cattle ranches, have made important sales, and have reliable and improved genetics in Simmental, Zebu, and crossbreeding. Once again, thank you all very much. We will be seeing each other very soon because we need to show you again the genetic work we are doing. A little bit saved this year because we have not gone out to fairs, we have not been able to share directly, but surely from next year we can be together again. With all the necessary precautions because the virus has not gone away. Take care of yourselves. Self-care is the most important measure we can take at this time. Follow us on our association's social networks and on Agrot's social networks, because we will be here throughout the year giving testimonials and offering the best of our Simmental, simbrah, and their crossbreeds. Viewers, to finish this beautiful work that we have done here in the company of Dr. Raphaeli and his advisors in Simmental, we want to invite you to share all this great work that has been done in Simgyr, replicated. And keep in mind that we can collaborate with you in advising you either from the association or from Hacienda Sevilla. We want all this work to be replicated. With all certainty our Colombian cattle breeding, in the crossbreeding of the Simmental with the gyre will be a success for all of you. With great pleasure, and also thanking TV Agro for broadcasting this program. Because we know that it is a very beautiful work in many years, and we hope you enjoy it. We are at your disposal at any time.